Okay, so I'm about to record the negative test steps. So I have the positive recorded already, and I'm going to press the record button to record the negative. So automatically it opens up my same test, and in here I'm going to type in an invalid username and password. So I'll put in Javid, and my password I'll put in Omar, and I'm going to press sign in. Now, because this is a wrong, invalid username and password, I couldn't sign in. If that's the case, I want to close the test right away. So I want to say just close it right away. So I close it, and I can end my recording. Okay, so what we have here is a beautiful combination of positive and negative. So from the very top to where I closed the first time, that was my positive. Then from the bottom down to where I closed it, that was my negative. And as you can see the screenshot from the active screen, I went to the same website, I typed in my username, Javid, I put in the password, that was Omar, and I signed in, took me to a different place, and I closed it from there. Okay. So how do we combine this? We combine this by adding an if and else statement. Alright, so how do we add the if and else statements? The easier way to do this is to go to your view and do this from the editor's menu. So from there, I know that my positive and negative have various similarities. And the similarity is this: they both require a username to sign in, they both require a password to sign in, and they both require you to click on the sign in button. This would always happen for positive and negative test case. Now the difference is what happens after you press this sign in button. So that's where I'm going to put my condition, saying okay, do something different based on the next step. And how do we do that? I'm going to use what we call the if and else statement. So my if, and I'll put my else in the middle. So if this is true, do this, else do this. So what I can do here is, I know from here to here is my positive, right? This is my positive. Oops, don't want to do that. Okay, so this is my positive. So I'm going to copy all my positive and say, okay, I know if it's a positive test case, you will see this, which is basically where you select the number of passengers. I can show you what I'm talking about. If it's a positive test case and you got in OK, I know you will see, so if I sign in OK, tutorial, I know I'm going to see a drop-down menu where I can select the number of passengers. Okay, so that could be my checkpoint, that could be my condition to say if this exists, then I know it's positive, right? So I can say if this exists, run the positive test case. So let's copy this, pass count. Don't press the select, because don't copy the select, because the select is an action. So just copy the object only. So I'm going to say if, replace the true with the object. So if browser at welcome Mercury find blah 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 pass count dot exist, you want to choose the exist, then do this, which is this is a positive test case. So I'm going to cut that and I'm going to put that in here. Okay, so if this is true, which is positive, then do this. Else, I know it's false. If that's not true, then I know what has happened was the negative was ran, which was Javid and the password, and click on the sign in, and I have to do close. So I can say if it's negative, then do this. So I can say if it's negative, just close it. Now, why didn't I copy this? I didn't copy this because this has already been copied. It's the same thing as this. So remember I said there's a similarity between the positive and the negative. So the similarities is where you have to enter your first name, your username, password, and click on the sign in. So we don't need to have the one for Javid and password. So I'll delete this. Now, someone might ask me, okay, in here we have tutorial and we have password for tutorial. How do we put the negative use case or the negative data in there? It's very simple. We're going to use parameters. So I'll go back into my the better view. I don't like this. Let's go back, change our view into the keyword view, and in here I'm going to set a parameter. So I'm going to say, okay, make tutorial a parameter. You can call it P for parameter, call it P tutorial. Excuse me. So this is where you select or you set a name for the username. So I'm going to call it P username, and I'm going to say OK. Now right away you can see in the data screen that I have a P username. I will do the same thing for my password as well, where I'm going to set a parameter for my password. So I'll set a parameter and I'll call the parameter P password, and I'll press OK. Now in here I can set my positive, which is the first one, tutorial, and I can set my negative, which is Omar Javid, and that's how you do it. Okay, so now I'm going to run this test case, and the script should be able to run both the positive and the negative. Okay, so now that we have set up the if and else, this is what it looks like on the keyword view, basically saying once you log in with your username and password and you sign in, if the pass count exists, which is a passenger selector, number of passengers, do the positive, else do the negative. Okay, so now we can run this, and we know the first time it's going to run is going to be positive because we're running the password is tutorial and the username is tutorial. The next time around we know it's going to be negative because it's Omar and Javid. So let's run this. So I'm going to close this, and I'm going to start from the top, and I'm going to press play. I'm going to press run. So the first test case is running, tutorial. It's going to select the passenger. It's going to select number 2 for passenger. 2 for passenger, and that's the end of the positive. And now it's running the negative, which is Omar and Javid. And you can see it's going to try to close this page to finish the negative test case. So this is a good example of where you're using the same script to achieve more than 1 or 2 test cases. And we're done. So there was no error message, and it ran twice. Okay, so that's the end of our little demo session for QTP. It's also called UFT. Please guys, it's all about practice. I hope you all practice and practice more to get familiar, with it. This is a good idea, by the way, to record my voice and show you exactly what I'm doing. I think we can be using this approach way forward. I can actually record myself in the class and send it to you guys right away. I think this is probably an easier thing for us all to do. So thanks, Madafi, for bringing that up. Merry Christmas, guys. I wish you all a lovely, safe holidays. Have fun with the family and try this out. And one last thing as well, guys, is you have a help guide. You can follow. So let's close. This is the report. So let's close the report. You can bring back up ALM. Oh, sorry. QTP. He has so many names. QTP, UFT, but the official name is UFT, the new name, Unified Functional Tester. You can try out the getting started. So they have, if you go into the help and you click on the HP Unified Testing help, or rather, you know what? Just go to GUI testing. No, I'll go to help. I don't want the forum. So yes, click on the help, and in here they have the getting started. If you spend some time with the getting started, you can try out a few examples yourself that will get you more familiar with what we've done in class. So the UFT tutorial for GUI testing, that's what we did in class so far. And you can just follow this step by step by clicking this icon, and you can try out different things yourself. It explains to you step by step what, and the beauty of this is, excuse me, and you can try it out step by step. Okay, so guys, if you have any questions, please let me know. I think installing QTP itself is pretty straightforward, but you might have some problems with, as I said, Java security and your Windows security. But anyways, give it a shout, give it a try, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.